Welcome back to Unlock Your Child's Full Potential podcast, where we focused on the mindset shifts, practical tools, and strategies that empower us to positively and effectively influence our kids. Today, we're diving into the second pillar of positive parenting, intentional communication. If you're new here or haven't tuned into episode 70 yet, I highly recommend starting there. In that episode, we discussed the first pillar, which is a paradigm shift in our approach to parenting. We talked about the different parenting styles, autocratic, permissive, and democratic, and how they influence our day-to-day interactions with our kids. So what do I mean by paradigm shift? It's about rethinking how we interpret our kids' behavior. Instead of seeing misbehavior as a sign that something is wrong with the child or with us as parents, what if we saw it as a sign that their needs aren't being met? When we start to approach things with this empathy and curiosity, it opens the door to understand what's really driving the behavior so we can address it at its root. With that perspective in place, we can explore some practical tweaks to the way we communicate with our children. Small, intentional changes that have the power to create a huge difference. First up is the concept of the emotional bank account. Think of your relationship with your child like a bank account, but instead of dollars, we're talking about emotional trust. In every interaction, we're either making deposits or withdrawals from the emotional bank account. When the balance is high, we enjoy easy, open communication where our mistakes are forgiven and misunderstandings don't lead to a major breakdown. Deposits happen when we make our kids feel valued and heard. It's when we hug them, spend quality time together, listen to their stories, and follow through on promises. It also includes those times when we take ownership of our mistakes and we apologize, actions that show them we're human too. On the flip side, withdrawals happen when we yell, ignore, or give them the silent treatment. Sometimes it's as simple as being too glued to our phones, unintentionally communicating that what's on the screen is more important than what they're saying. Every small interaction counts. And the more we stay mindful of adding deposits, the stronger that bank account becomes. And believe me, you'll notice the difference in the way they respond to you when the trust is high. Next, let's talk about a tool we call the pause button. This one has been huge for me personally. Think of it as having a pause button, a tool that lets you create a small space between the stimulus, like when your child spills juice on important papers, and your response. Instead of snapping, saying something like, "Can you be more careful?" Hitting the pause button gives you the power to choose how you want to respond. Take a moment to actually picture this. Your child has knocked over a glass for the third time this week. Your instinct might be to yell out of frustration, but with a pause button, you get to take a deep breath, maybe even put a hand on your heart, and take a minute or two to ground yourself. That pause can be the difference between a knee-jerk reaction and a calm response. It's not easy at first, and I know it takes practice, but over time, it becomes second nature. And remember, reacting with calm doesn't mean you ignore the behavior. It means you're choosing a response that leaves your child feeling safe, respected, and actually more likely to cooperate next time. Now, let's talk about tone. Tone is the verbal expression of a feeling, and our kids pick up on it instantly. When we are passive-aggressive or use a sarcastic tone, it pushes kids away and shuts down cooperation. When we deliver messages with a neutral or friendly tone, it's easier for our kids to accept what we are saying. Instead of a stern, "No, we're not getting ice cream," try a more playful approach. "No ice cream today, sweetie. Maybe we can try making some this weekend." By keeping your tone neutral or even playful, you're more likely to get a positive response without triggering defensiveness. Some fun tricks I found helpful are sometimes I say things in a silly voice, or even sync my responses, just to lighten the mood. Little things like a smile or a gentle eye contact can go a long way to softening the no without losing your authority. Now, here's a scenario many of us can relate to. Imagine your little girl has taken your jewelry to play with and doesn't put it back. You might find yourself saying something like, "Why do you always take my things? I can never find them. If you don't stop, I'm going to lock my door." Most likely, she's going to either get defensive or just tune you out, feeling blamed or misunderstood. But what if we approached it with a simple structure that communicates both our feelings and our needs without sounding critical? Here's how it might look. I feel frustrated when you take my jewelry because when I want it, it's not where I left it. What I'd like is for you to put it back when you're done. And by the way, I really love your sense of style. This approach is positive because it followed a three-part model that's both clear and compassionate. First, state your feelings. Start with how her actions affect you personally, rather than leading with criticism. Second, express what you want. Make a direct, actionable request, like putting the jewelry back after she uses it. And then third, highlight a positive quality. Compliment something you love about her, like her creativity or sense of style. When we use this model, we're not just addressing the behavior, we're helping her feel respected and valued, making her more likely to listen and respond positively. This little three-step formula, feelings, needs, and appreciation, works wonders for helping kids feeling respected, and it can transform a potentially tense moment into one of connection and understanding. And then holding space and listening. Listening is such a crucial part of intentional communication and is one of the most powerful ways to build trust with our kids. When we listen with genuine interest, we're not just hearing their words, we're letting them know that their feelings matter. Kids often struggle to communicate their emotions. Our role is to create a safe space for them to express themselves. And listening can be tricky. It means we hold off on offering solutions, resist the urge to fix things, and instead just let them feel. Imagine how comforting it is to feel heard without judgment. And when we validate their feelings, even if we don't fully understand or agree, we're saying, "I see you and I'm here for you." Some responses that work well are, "I get why that would make you sad," or "I can tell you're really upset. That makes sense." Empathy encourages them to keep sharing, helping them process their feelings more independently over time. And let's also get creative with the words we use. As parents, it's easy to get stuck in repetitive language. But over time, our kids can become parent deaf to phrases they hear constantly. So let's add a bit of creativity to keep our communication fresh and engaging. Instead of a rushed "hurry up," we could say, "All right, let's move like cheetahs." For older kids, bring in humor by naming a famous sprinter they like. Another example would be, instead of saying "stop it," try, "Can you show me how to be gentle with the dog?" This way you're making your message specific and positive, which tends to stick much better. Then there's the power of choices. When kids are given choices, they're more likely to cooperate because they feel a sense of autonomy. Instead of "clean your room now," try, "Would you rather start with toys or clothes?" It's amazing how simple shift from directive to choice can motivate them. And it reinforces the idea that they're capable of making their own decisions. We also want to create an environment where mistakes are okay. Our kids will make mistakes just as we do. When they mess up, it's a learning opportunity. For instance, if they spill a drink, you might say, "Whoops, looks like there's a mess. Let's grab some towels." That way, you're sending a message that mistakes are part of life and they're not something to be ashamed of. Finally, let's talk about repair. We're going to mess up sometimes. That's just a fact. When we do, apologizing and making amends is powerful. It could be as simple as saying, "I'm sorry for yelling, that wasn't fair," and following up with a small gesture, like spending some extra quality time together. The combination of a sincere apology and a thoughtful gesture goes a long way in strengthening trust. I want to wrap up with this. Have the courage to be imperfect. We're all going to have days where things don't go as planned, where old habits creep in, and we find ourselves thinking, "Oh, I could have handled that better." Don't beat yourself up. Remind yourself that every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. When you make small changes, celebrate them. Recognize your progress, no matter how gradual it may feel. And always, always give yourself grace. Remember, we're not striving for perfection, just improvement, one step at a time. You're doing amazing work, and your efforts are already making a difference in your relationship with your child. Finally, don't forget to take care of yourself. It's like they say on airplanes, put on your own oxygen mask first. If we're running on empty, it's so much harder to be patient and present. Find those small moments for yourself and recharge so you can be the parent you want to be. If you love the tools and tweaks I just shared, I've got some exciting news. I'm officially certified as a positive parenting coach, and to celebrate, I'm offering a free 30-minute coaching session to one lucky listener. In this session, we'll dive into your unique parenting questions, and I'll provide guidance, support, and tools tailored just for you. To enter, simply leave a review on iTunes for the podcast, take a screenshot, and send it to me via email, DM, on Instagram, or even a text. You'll find all the contact details in the show notes. I'll be picking a winner in 2 weeks, so don't miss this chance to grab some free one-on-one support. Good luck, and thank you for being part of this community. Until next time, take care and keep going. You've got this.